Humanitarian organizations in Palestine denounced that the Israeli blockade measures aggravate the famine situation in the Gaza Strip. Palestinian rights groups accuse Israel of consistently and baselessly blocking aid operations to the Gaza Strip, even as the enclave falls further into famine. The organizations urge the international community to continue pressure on Israel to allow much-needed aid into Gaza so residents can cope with the famine situation due to the shortage of essential supplies. Regarding the worsening humanitarian crisis, the UN confirmed 20 deaths due to malnutrition and warned that dozens of civilians die in silence due to famine without reaching hospitals in Gaza. In this regard, several countries continue operations to send humanitarian aid to the Gaza Strip. In images, we see how joint air operations between Jordan, Egypt, the United States, France, the Netherlands, and Belgium launched packages with humanitarian aid, food, and medical supplies to civilians in the Gaza Strip. These packages with the aid are being distributed to the northern Gaza, where the Israeli occupation forces have prevented access to the trucks with necessary supplies for the most vulnerable population. On Thursday, UNRWA Commissioner General Philip Lazzarini stated that airdrops are not the answer to the dramatic situation in Gaza, which he described as a looming man-made starvation and famine.
We have never ever seen in a conflict so many children killed, so many health workers killed, so many journalists killed, so many UN staff killed in such a short period. And on top of that, we are also witnessing a looming man-made starvation and famine. Now, the airdrop can be an addition, possibly, but the airdrop will not be the answer to the extraordinary dramatic situation we are encountering in the region. But I'm also cautiously optimistic that a number of countries now will have the necessary trust and confidence to restore the contribution to the agency.
Israeli occupation forces handed over the bodies of nearly 50 unidentified martyrs that the occupation had stolen from various areas of the Gaza Strip. The National Campaign to Recover the Bodies of the Martyrs reported that the surrender was made through the Kerem Shalom crossing. Likewise, the entity indicated that the Israeli occupation army has so far delivered 338 bodies of martyrs from the Gaza Strip in 4 lots, all being buried in mass graves. The occupation troops abducted hundreds of corpses from hospitals to Nasser and Han Yunis after having been buried in the courtyards of the medical centers, since they could not be transferred to cemeteries because of the Israeli siege.
There was an agreement between a charitable trust and the Ministry of Health. The Israeli side handed over the bodies of 47 martyrs in a container. Then we went to the cemetery of the Sultan, where a common grave was set up to bury the martyred brothers. And as you can see, the burial is being done according to the Sharia of Islam. We ask for more help from people of goodwill to enable more mass graves so we can bury more bodies. Thank you very much.
In China, Foreign Minister Wang Yi, during his speech this Thursday at the 14th National People's Assembly, described what is happening in Gaza as a tragedy for humanity and a disgrace for civilization in the 21st century. Ratifying his country's support to Palestine, he assured that the disaster in Gaza has reminded the world that it could no longer ignore the fact that the Palestinian territories have been occupied for many years. As several Latin American leaders have said, he stressed that the establishment of an independent Palestinian state is inevitable. In solidarity with the wishes of the Palestinian people, he reiterated that as a force for peace, stability, and progress, his country supports full membership of the State of Palestine in the United Nations. The UN Security Council resumes discussions on Gaza on Thursday as worsening living conditions for civilians caught in the conflict pushes calls for a permanent ceasefire. The 15-member body, hearing a closed-door session, the UN Humanitarian and Reconstruction Coordinator for the Strip, Sigrid Kaag, appointed in December by the UN to reinforce the entry of supplies. UN agencies estimate that more than 85% of the population remains displaced, and the threat of death due to the lack of food raises alarms. especially in the north of the enclave. On Wednesday, the head of the World Health Organization, Tedros Adhanom Ghebreyesus, said that 1 in 6 children is dangerously malnourished in the north, while the UN humanitarian coordinator for the occupied Palestinian territory, Jamie McGoldrick, said that hunger has reached catastrophic levels.